Hello pilgrims! Today I am going to walk the stretch between Saint-Jean-du-Pied-de-Port and Roncesvalles, the most complicated part of the whole French way of St. James since we have to cross the Pyrenees. Moreover, of the two variants, we are going to do the more difficult one, as today there will be neither fog nor snow. At the most, a little rain is expected. I invite you to join us in this video to discover this section, which is for many the first stage of the Camino de Santiago. Our stage should start at dawn, neither before nor after. We should not leave at night due to the traffic on the road we will travel. And we should start as soon as the sun rises to have the whole day in case anything happens. It is very important to carry plenty of water, especially if it is going to be hot. In the 8 kilometers of mountain between Orisson and the border, we will not find any water sources. Very soon we will arrive at the fork that will indicate us to go on one side to the so-called route of Napoleon, or on the other, the one of Valcarlos. Today we choose the first option, with great scenery and also harder, as you climb from 200 meters from Saint-Jean to more than 1400 meters high. But before choosing which road to take, we must have checked the weather information. Fog can play a trick on us, and whenever there is bad weather or fog, it is recommended to go by Valcarlos. Also, between November 1st and March 30th, it is expressly forbidden to ascend the Napoleon route due to the high probability of snow. Our route will advance almost always by road, first by a steep slope, prologue of everything we are going to climb today. Then the road continues always ascending. A little more than 5 kilometers later, we will pass by the Honto hostel, and 2.5 kilometers later, we will arrive at the Orisson hostel. You can see from this video how the weather can change. Sometimes we had fog or rain, and after a while the sun came out. The truth is that the views are spectacular. As you go up, you cross the Pyrenees and see the whole mountain. And if you look back, you will see the sea and Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. 4 kilometers later, still on the same road, you will reach the Virgin of Biaccori. This image is located towards the middle of the stage, and with a good part of the ascent crowned, since we are at 1100 meters above sea level. The views are magnificent from this small plain, usual point of rest. We must not forget our sunscreen at this stage, as the shadows are very few, and the sun, although it is not summer, hits hard. We keep going. If it is high season, 3 kilometers further on we will be surprised by a stall where we can buy some food or drink, and where we can also stamp the credential. We are in the most beautiful area of the whole day, crowning the Pyrenees between pastures, loose cattle and spectacular views. Do not get used to it, as there will not be a stage like this in the rest of the Camino de Santiago. We are really in a mountain stage, but we have covered more than half of it and we have done practically everything by road. Until we get here, where we are going to start the walking on trails. We will be careful if the weather is bad, and if the weather is good, we will enjoy it. How funny, Javier, who did not warn me that the horse was coming. Leaving the road, we will go through the most complex section. It will be a short but steep slope on a trail with loose stones. This point will be the most complicated for cyclists, which there are also in this tough mountain variant. Soon we reach a wooded area through which we enter Spain. At the border we will find a fountain and an aid station in case we need to call the emergency service. We will advance now through a high mountain area. Every few meters we will find some indicators that mark the route if there is snow, and with numbers in case we have to signal the emergency service where we are. In fact, after crossing the forest we will arrive at a hut equipped with emergency equipment. It is located here in case we must take shelter in an unexpected snowstorm. From this point we begin a final ascent that will take us to crown the stage at 1425 meters above sea level. But be careful, we have only 5 kilometers left and Roncesvalles is 950 meters above sea level. This means that we have a very steep descent ahead of us, more pronounced in the first part, which will leave us quite sore for tomorrow's stage. All this descent goes through a forest that can be dangerous at night or in fog, so we must get here in time. However, before entering the forest we have a fork. We can continue descending towards Ibañeta by a somewhat milder, longer variant that is done by road. In the final part of the forest, we will cross a section of a route called Pasa ya un vero. It is likely to find muddy areas here, but we do not care so much because we are finishing. We can already see Roncesvalles in the distance and the end of our hard day. We finally arrived at Roncesvalles after a pretty tough stage. In our case, we have had heat, cold, sun, rain, everything. Now it's time to go to the accommodation we have booked to take a good shower, and then go to the Pilgrim's Mass with its solemn blessing. And if today is our first stage on the Camino de Santiago, what less than sharing a dinner of brotherhood with the pilgrims we have met today? Tomorrow they will be our friends possibly, for the whole way and perhaps for life. Buen camino.